Lowbillies is a local blues band that is dedicated to an old style of performing the blues. I talk one-on-one with the guitarist and vocalist of the band, Gill, for this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel and like Quintin's Close-Ups on Facebook.
Gill, welcome to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Thanks so much. Good to see you, Quintin.
Likewise, me and you have known each other for many, many years.
It's been a few.
Yeah, going back to my days working at Qology Barbecue, and of course you played music at our establishment at that time.
Yep.
And obviously you are a guitarist and vocalist with the Lowbillies, which is a local blues band here in the Low Country. Let me ask you this, Ron. What's new? What's now with the Lowbillies?
Well, we just kind of keep plugging at the blues. It's you gotta love it when you play blues, because so many people say, I don't like blues. And then of course they hear it and they go, wow, this stuff is great. So, just that's kind of the weekly, monthly struggle with folks. But we love it. We managed to get booked and are able to get out and be playing it. So that's good. I kind of keep a thing going with the Low Country. We're called the Low Country Blues Connection these days, and that's the local affiliate of the Blues Foundation, which is based in Memphis. And we do our weekly blues jam over at Pub on 61, and so I'll at least go there and play every week for a little bit. Sometimes I'm part of the house band. Sometimes I gotta run the jam and herd all those cats. So keep doing that. I've got kind of a posse of players that I get to I have to choose from sometimes. Generally, there's three of us. There's myself. I have Lowbilly Bert Ross playing bass, and then Lowbilly John Gross playing drums for us for the most part. And when one of those guys can't make it for whatever reason, I'll call on some other folks that are solid and real good at blues, and keep the same act going,
Yes,
so it works out pretty well.
Well, absolutely. And you obviously talk about those weekly, monthly struggles with people. What are those weekly and monthly struggles with blues and your music?
I mean, it's mostly just, if we find a place that we're booked at to play, getting folks to come out and support not only blues but live music in general.
Yes.
But it's been that way everywhere I've been. Getting people to come out, especially to support live music and all of that. We do our thing. We haul a lot of gear. We do spend a lot of time setting up and tearing down, but we get to have that kind of zen 2 or 3 hours where we get to kind of do our thing and enjoy what we do, and then back to work with the tear down and all of that. But mostly it's getting folks to come out and support just basically live music in general.
Absolutely. So, yeah. Ron, let me ask you this. Who is your audience?
For the most part, I'm finding it's folks my age. Now, I might not look it, but, I'm retired. I'll put it that way.
Yes, sir.
And, there's, we're the guys that grew up in the British invasion, okay? And, what the case with me was, listening to those bands and then listening to them covering the blues masters, I kind of took that a little bit further and then found out who those guys were and decided, well, that's kind of where I came from, so that's what I pretty much studied and worked on, and that's what I love doing. I kind of figured early on as a guitar player I wasn't going to be a shredder, and then later on it's kind of funny. I tell people that, well, I could be 90 years old sitting in a rocking chair playing blues, and it looks right. It's like, trying to get on stage being a hairband guy at 90 is going to be an interesting juxtaposition there.
Right.
But yeah, so a lot of folks my age, and of course, they're not going to be out until 2:00 in the morning. But fortunately for us, neither are we. I end up with a lot of things where we're finished by 9:00. So, I try and sell it that way. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah. And Ron, let me ask you, from the time that you really got to know blues to right now, what is the biggest difference musically about blues?
Boy. I'm not sure. I think that there's just a thread running from, back around the 20s, meaning, the 1920s and somewhat maybe before that, right on through to the present day. The one thing that's different is that it stays pretty consistent. A lot of people get to, what's fun for me is I get to do, I'm kind of almost expected to pay homage, to the early folks. So I get to do my rendition of things that are 100 years old now, and that's what I think I like about it the most, is seeing other people do that and find out, ways that they've taken things that I have heard hundreds of times and make it new and fresh and different and all of that. That's what I really like about it.
So what artists' music that are like 100 years old right now that you're taking and making new from a musical standpoint?
Oh, geez, the great standby is Robert Johnson. Got a lot of Robert Johnson that we do. Howlin' Wolf, the Chicago guys, Muddy Waters and those guys. Jimmy Reed, Otis Rush, a lot of that stuff. Newer guys like Tab Benoit. I really like his stuff. Jimmy Thackeray. Who else I got here? Well, there's, old guys, Willie Dixon. Willie Dixon wrote so many great blues tunes, and they're all nice and upbeat and a lot of fun, and they all tell a story, and the vocals are easy to understand generally. That's kind of what you want in your mix. It's not like you have to growl out this thing that nobody can understand. All the other kings,
Yes.
BB and Albert and Earl King and Albert Collins and all of those guys. So, I've followed many of those guys when they were live, and I still go looking for recordings of things that they've done that I haven't seen, because there's a lot of it around, especially with YouTube these days. It's great.
Really is great. So, Ron, let me ask you, how do you tell your personal story through blues?
My stuff always tends to have a little bit more of a humor to it, shall I say. The last disc that I did, I got one that's called Don't Cock-a-Doodle-Doo Me. I got a Sweet Bee Boogie. I got one called Whiskey, Smokes, and Dope. I got my last favorite was called Trumpy the Clown, which is a very nice swing thing. It's nice and bouncy and all that, but it tells a little story about our former president. It's kind of fun. I get a little pushback on that one sometimes.
Oh, and let me ask you, Ron, there's so many, as you mentioned, political and social issues out there right now. How do you incorporate that into your music and still be Ron Gill?
Oh, I don't know, innuendo, subtlety, metaphor, all the great literary sort of tricks and all of that. Because, you want it to be music, you want it to be something people can enjoy, but if you gotta give a little jab at something that you don't feel is right, that's probably the best way to do it, is with the from the humorous side.
Yes, sir. And Ron, let me ask you, what exactly is missing from music today?
Oh boy, for me, it's real people playing real instruments. I can't tell you the last time I listened to any pop music. I just don't. It's all about the singer. It's rarely about the backup players, which without them, the singers got nothing. I mean, there's some great singers that can sing just by themselves, no doubt. But, for me, the things that make it interesting are things like, melody and arrangement and harmonies and that sort of thing. And I think that, I don't know, again, I don't listen to much pop music, so I'm just kind of guessing that a lot of the harmonies especially are not there. There was all those back in the 60s and 70s, those bands with the backup singers, and man, there's nothing better than like a 3 or 4 piece backup vocal group going along with what's going on with the song. I love that stuff. Horn sections, right. I've played with a horn section any number of times, and that's just so much fun. And it adds all those textures that I don't feel like a lot of pop music gets. Pop music, you got the big synthesizer and adding all that stuff with the synthesizers, but yeah, not the same.
What is something that you want to play with right now on the stage, Ron, that you haven't been able to do so far?
Oh man, that'd be some of that stuff with the horn section and the backup singers. I got a chance to do that when I was in Denver, because we had excuse me here. You're making my ear tickle there, Quintin. But we had a horn section, and then we all did vocals, so we had lots of harmonies and that sort of thing. But we right now just kind of the economics of the music is we just go out as a 3-piece group, bass, drummer, and me playing guitar, some harmonica, and we do get a little bit of vocal harmony going on. But yeah, you miss that big sound. We'd have bass, drummer, keyboard, saxophone, trumpet, and trombone all going at once upon a time, and there's nothing like that. That's a lot of fun.
I bet it is. I really bet it is. Let me ask you, Ron, what instrument describes you?
Describes me? Hopefully it's in tune and it's a guitar. Just a guitar and the amplifier and the wire connecting the two. I'm looking at a new amp right now just because I'm thinking, oh, this could be the one. Of course, I've said that about the 3 others that I got laying around too, and they're great, and I really like them as far as a piece of hardware goes. But just a good, slightly overdriven, a little bit of an edge on the guitar, and being able to bang into it if I need to, or play lightly for some other parts, and get the dynamics of the group working around that. That's a lot of fun.
Very much so. And so, from a music standpoint, Ron, how do you go slightly over the edge?
Well, it generally takes some rehearsals so that everybody knows how the dynamics of the song need to work out.
Yes.
Because you can't have it happen all the time. Right. Certain songs don't lend itself to it. So it's kind of a balancing act, but yeah, it's something you kind of dial in a rehearsal, and that a little bit of communication on stage as to, okay, boys, we're going to open it up here and just start getting a little bit nutty on the guitar and the bass and the drummer, and then break it all down, and come back to the song at a time that you've kind of predetermined, and great for dynamics and real good fun.
Oh, absolutely. So let me ask you a redundant question and an obvious question, Ron. Who are you on stage?
Who am I on stage? Oh man, I don't know. I guess I'm Lowbilly Ron, Poke Chop Gill. I've gone by Poke Chop for a long time, so that I guess that's my alter ego. If you look at our website, right, especially for the Poke Chop website, you go. Our tip jar is a little plastic piggy bank, and so he's our manager, a little Porky. So yeah, I guess it's something to do with that.
Yes, and of course, Ron, you all have toured all over the country and performed at major festival events throughout the country. So, What show has been a testament to your musical growth?
Oh boy. Man, yeah, we've done some openers here and there. We did a show up in Portland, Maine, where it was criminy Russian lady. I can't remember her name off the top of my head that we got to open for there, and she was just dynamite. But then, I was doing a country band back in Denver in the late 80s, and we opened for Dwight Yoakam, as a country band. So that was a lot of fun. Those sorts of things. I've been doing a thing with some friends up in Maine, actually going up to Montreal in September. And we just do a bunch of Stones covers, but we got a lot of really excellent players in that group. And we played some big stages. Matter of fact, we did, a song, and we've got some booked for this summer where we're doing some Stone songs with the Bangor Symphony Orchestra backing us up on that. So those have been a lot of fun, those kinds of things. But, really just kind of the places around here like Awendaw. Eddie likes to get us in there a lot, so we go there, and I really enjoy that because he's such a supporter of live music, that kind of thing. Down at the Palmetto Brewery, they like us down there. That's a lot of fun. We get a lot of younger people in there that don't get exposed to what we do very often, but they like us down there, and we're in there quite a bit. So that's a lot of fun.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, Ron. Going forth, what ideal demographic would you want to come and see you?
Well, I'd like to see all sorts of ages. I and Lowbilly Bert, we're talking about putting this thing together. We did it a few years ago. We called it the Blues Factory. And so think of a factory of, manufacturing. We're thinking of kind of providing a venue, a space, an event where especially young folks can put their band together, or their duo act, or even their solo act, to play some blues and showcase it, give it to them as a place where they can actually go to perform, and we can get people interested in blues to show up and support that. So we're hoping to get that going again. That's going to be kind of in concert with the Low Country Blues Connection, our Blues Foundation affiliate. So, something like that, I'd like to see us really get going. We're going to talk with the woman over at the South of Broadway Theater about possibly doing it there. We've thought of a couple other places that we need that we could possibly talk to about having it there. But yeah, invite some of the music schools around town to try and open that up to some of their students, because the thing about blues that's really fun is I feel like it's very accessible to especially more novice players. You don't need a whole lot of grips and chords and stuff to play your way through the arrangements, and like so many blues solo, like B.B. King would tell you that if you play that one note right, that's all you need for a solo. So, I find blues music very accessible in that respect. And, hopefully we can get some younger kids involved that way. That's what I'd really like to see happen.
And when you look at blues from your perspective, Ron, what is the state of blues music?
Well, I think it's as good a place as it's ever been. It's again, there are a number of younger blues acts, guys that are in their 30s and 40s. I say younger. Plenty of us old guys after it, that's for sure.
That's right.
But I'm involved with the Blues Foundation, and I've been going to Memphis for what's called the International Blues Challenge every year for a number of years. And you'll see they actually have one of the categories of performers that they have are youth music. So that's open for kids 18 and under, and they fill those slots right up. And some of those kids are just absolutely dynamite, and that's really great to see. So, and a lot of the folks that have moved into the finals of the IBC have been fairly young performers, and you see them at a lot of festivals these days, guys that have not only performed in the finals but have won the finals and that sort of thing. And they tend to be some younger folks, probably in their 20s and 30s. So I think that's great to see, and they have, they'll pay homage, like I say, so many times blues musicians are kind of expected to do their take on some classic tunes, and you'll see them all do that, but you'll see them all do a lot of original stuff too, and it's that's the most fun part about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you could go back to being 17 years old right now, what would you tell a 17-year-old Ron Gill?
Oh man, I'd say practice more grips. I mean, I started out as a rhythm player, and I still really enjoy that. But man, I see some guys that are doing stuff with the left hand that it's like, oh, I got to figure that out, and now I got to sit down for hours on end. And it doesn't come as quick, with age, but. Mostly that, probably work on my vocals more. I think my vocals are okay, but sometimes I get a little whiny.
Well, guitarist and vocalist with the Lowbillies, Ron Gill, thank you so much for your time. And again, welcome to Quintin's Close-Ups, Ron.
Thanks so much, Quintin. Great to see you. Thanks for having me.
Likewise.
Ta-ta.